The horror begins when Carly Beth puts on the evil haunted mask, and it ends when she discovers there is nothing more powerful than the love of her family and friends. What's so scary about that? You'll see. Viewers beware.
Maybe if you read
You're
the
in
book,
for
it
a
would be that
scare.
big a deal.
I really love the look and style of the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Fog!
Happy Halloween, everyone! Welcome to the Screaming Room.
We are all begrudgingly, or at least I'm begrudgingly, wearing matching Goosebumps shirts.
Do you like our costumes?
They are pretty nice. I am not a fan of matching, as my lovely Sarah likes to know. I am not a fan. But
Aren't you the one who suggested matching costumes last year?
no, that was Brandon when he wanted to do the society costume.
Yeah,
Yes,
shunting.
the shunting.
We're not doing
No,
that.
we are not doing
We're
that.
totally doing
We are not doing that. We are never doing that.
Anyways, let's get on topic.
Welcome to our Halloween special. In case you can't tell by our shirts, we are watching Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask.
You will beware. You're in for a scare.
So one of the best intros ever.
The very first episode of the Goosebumps television show that, in this case, aired on Fox Primetime, but the normal show was on Fox Kids, I think from like 94 to 98.
It was
or
like
99.
95 to 98 or
What,
99,
what,
something like
right around there.
Yeah.
The
Fox Kids, what is that all about?
Fox. You
Wait, you didn't
watch
watch Fox Kids?
Yeah,
They
I probably do. I just didn't remember it was called Fox
It's
Kids.
called Fox Kids. Fox Kids was a children's lineup from like 91 all the way to like 2005.
Yeah, there was like one Saturday morning and then there was Fox Kids.
That was it. Those were the two different ones out there.
You really never Wow.
I'm pretty sure I've
It was like
experienced it. I just didn't remember that it was called Fox.
I don't know. That was pretty memorable even for me, and I hated kid shit well, then again, kid shit back in our day was actually kind of cool.
It was great. Yeah.
It was great. You had X-Men, you had Power Rangers, you had Big Bad Beetleborgs, you had the Tick,
You had Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Batman,
Ned Snoot.
Sure.
Pennsylvania.
Gary,
Indiana.
Yeah, you and like us are the only people that remember Pennsylvania. You had so many different shows on an amazing lineup. It was a hell of a concept. It was a huge part of my childhood. But one of the most important shows on Fox Kids was in fact Goosebumps.
And in fact, a little piece of trivia for you: Goosebumps actually predates the TV Y7 TV rating.
Really?
Yes, because when Goosebumps first started, they made up their own rating called like TV G7 for like Goosebumps
I remember
7.
that.
But when they actually came up with the real rating, they did away with that.
Nice. I like that.
That's ridiculous. But okay.
It's pretty fucking clever, actually.
Goosebumps is rated GB7 because it may be too spooky for children under 7.
All right, I gotta say this right off the bat. This episode is way better than the rest of the Goosebumps series by and large. I think this episode is actually legitimately good. Does it have the tropes of Goosebumps? For sure. Does it have a lot of the horror tropes, like falling, leaving doors open and falling down randomly? But those are tropes that we've known and loved. But by far,
It has tone.
and
It has a story.
and acting.
Scenes lead to one another.
Yes. And you actually, I remember with that whole, dramatic scene, we were all laughing, but I think if we didn't laugh, we would cry. Because you actually feel fucking sympathy for this girl.
Oh,
I don't know if I would go that far.
It's just fucking sad at some points.
So the Haunted Mask follows Carly Beth, who is our leading character. And she's the girl at school that not everybody, but primarily these two boys always pick on. But they're always scaring her, but everybody ends up laughing at her because of these two boys who always scare her.
She is insanely gullible and a huge scaredy cat.
Yes. In her defense, though, there is one thing they did that does definitely cross a line, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, they're definitely like, I guess it's become a trademark and a trope of every Goosebumps episode that you're gonna have multiple dicks in every episode. Like, they just remind you sometimes how fucking nasty kids can be. And this episode is no different, and in fact even goes a little farther.
The story begins with Carly Beth and her friend Sabrina. They're walking around town, and there's this new store that's opening soon, just this novelty shop that's selling all these masks.
Literally called Novelty Store.
Yes.
Oh, Novelty Shop, yep.
It's a new store. Where'd that come from? I don't know, but it's just in time for Halloween. Novelty shop. Wow.
Yes, it's like that restaurant that I saw when I was in Canada once that was just called Restaurant.
Okay.
You think I'm joking, but I'm not.
No. I've seen them. I've seen restaurants just called Restaurant. You go into enough small towns in this country, you will just find, restaurant, post office.
Yeah,
Bar.
that's very original, guys.
And so they're on their way to get a pumpkin for Carly Beth for Halloween, and they go into the pumpkin patch just for Carly Beth to get scared by old Chuck and Steve.
Carly Beth, you should have seen your face.
Yeah, Chuck and Steve are dicks.
So Carly Beth was scared by Chuck and Steve, and Sabrina's trying to console her while also covering up her own laughter.
They're creeps. They have no life. Last weekend at your house, they pretended they were prowlers. That wasn't funny. Sorry.
Yeah, and actually, I gotta hand it to Steve and his buddy and everything else. The whole setup with the pumpkins on top of it, that actually took some legitimate ingenuity there. I give respect to them. They had a legitimate good scare there.
I mean, the real question is, how long were they sitting there?
That plan took a lot of patience.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did. Yes, it did.
I'm like, I don't know any kids that age who have patience like that. So it's like the level of dedication for that.
And that just furthers how much of dicks they are. They're dicks with patience. We're such big assholes. We're gonna sit here in this field and wait for hours, hoping to scare the shit out of this girl.
You gotta remember, this is the 90s. There's no fucking cell phones. I'd probably do that as a kid if I'm that fucking bored.
Carly Beth is upset. She goes home and she sees her mother, and her mother made something interesting in art class.
Hey, come here. I want to show you something. Check it out.
Mom, it's me. This face is me.
I finished it today in art class. Oh, it's plaster of Paris, so be careful. It's hollow.
Her mother made a ceramic head of Carly Beth, her actual head, which is kind of I wanted to say this while we were watching it, but when you first get the first shot of Carly Beth, I remembered immediately back to that ceramic head, and I'm like, I bet right now in this shot, if we put the ceramic head and them next to each other, it looked really fucking similar. She looked really plastic in that opening shot. Them walking up, and I'm like, this is genius foreshadowing or way too much fucking makeup on somebody.
Or you're just looking too much into it.
Yeah, probably.
You're probably looking too much into it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked anything like her. It looked like He-Man.
Why else would I make it? Carly Beth?
It smiled at me.
By the way, in addition to the two bullies at school, she's also picked on by her younger brother, who is also a dick. Because she ends up going back to her room. The mom had made a costume.
Black. No, wait, turn it off me. Black. No, I mean it. Gotcha. Take up that duck costume. It's my costume. Carly Beth the scaredy cat. Carly Beth the scaredy cat.
He scares the shit out of her in her duck costume. And again, I think her friend and her mom are the only people who are fucking nice to her.
Yeah.
And even then, her friend did have a couple moments of trying to cover up her own laughter.
Yeah.
She's just like, yo, this shit, it's kind of fucking funny. You really are a coward.
And It's true, man. And actually, it kind of gives credit to the girl who played her in her performance for being a child performance for just Canadian kids television is pretty fucking good, actually. Yeah. To play a character that, and have nuance with the performance, and then playing both sides of it, playing that, and then later on the Haunted Mask. Yeah, I think she's really good, especially that scene when she's tearing up the duck costume, and then I know we all laughed and everything else, but like I kind of laughed because it was fucking sad. It was really sad.
Stupid thing.
Oh man. If I didn't laugh, I would cry. It's so sad. The feathers on that thing are weak. She really decides that she doesn't want to be cute. She wants to be scary, which I can appreciate. And actually, I think that that's what this whole thing delves into. Without getting too deep into this, I think every kid can understand being bullied, and I think damn sure every kid can understand looking in the mirror and not liking what they see.
Yeah.
And wanting to be somebody else and not liking who they are and wanting to truly be somebody else. And also too is and then actually transforming into that person. And then how it affects everybody all around. It's actually, I can't believe it's this fucking nuanced and deep in an episode of Goosebumps, for Christ's sake. But we made a bunch of jokes later about how she's behaving like a crackhead. And all her family and her friends are all freaking out. And that also is a metaphor for, it could be for drugs and how that changes you as a person. And how you're not the same person, you're addicted. You're not the same person, you're destroying the relationships. Or wanting to be a completely different person. You're fucking alienating everyone that ever liked you as the person you were before. So, a lot of good metaphors throughout all of this.
For a good, Goosebumps episode like this, compared to the other ones, it's actually one of the most, relatable ones.
Yeah.
Compared to the other Goosebumps episodes, just because of what you just said right now.
It's a fear of lost identity.
Yeah.
That's deep. And actually, the funny thing is I'm actually glad it was a girl and not a boy. I think this story, and actually, I think by and large, there were more boy fans of Goosebumps than there were girl fans. But it's disappointing that that's the case, because I think a lot more girls would get a lot more out of this episode than they would any other episode.
Really, because my experience has been the exact opposite. It's been more. I've met more girls who like Goosebumps.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good, because I think that this episode's tailor made for mostly girls. It's a lot about identity and a lot about liking yourself for who you are rather than the other way around. Obviously, guys can relate to that, but in the early '90s, that was a big thing.
Well, that's one of the good things about Goosebumps too, is you never got the same gender protagonist all the time. It wasn't always boys and it wasn't always girls. It was literally anybody could enjoy it. Correct.
And I think and their themes again that anybody can understand. Anybody can understand being bullied. Anybody can understand. And then also too is the funny thing is what would have happened if she would have stayed in the mask. She would have lost herself, and also her friend would have lost a friend. They so there's a lot of good shit in here. It's overall it's really really well done.
After or before we get to the her ripping up her costume, there where she gets to that point of breakdown. Is she's at school, they're having lunch there, and then she's already feeling kind of antsy from the night before with two boys scaring her. So they come up to her with a pumpkin and it kind of hit it. I guess it's one of those
So I'll meet at your house about 7:30.
All right, come on.
After that, she's sitting there trying to cope with her anxiety there, being scared. And while she's, talking to her friend Sabrina, these kids slip a actual worm into her sandwich.
Really, Carly Beth, we're really sorry. Really.
Fine, just leave me alone from now on, okay?
That was pretty much far. They took that pretty far there.
Pretty gross.
That was gross. That was
borderline assault.
Yeah, assault.
Yeah,
that was
kids
uncalled
can go
for.
eat worms for all I care.
Yeah.
3 bites of that sandwich, by the way.
That's pretty long.
Before she realized she was chewing on,
Squishy worm.
And then of course the whole lunchroom just starts laughing. Oh, that poor girl.
And this is where they got the pitch. This is where they got the pitch for Fear Factor. Just in case that comedy thing don't work out or podcasting thing work out, I'm gonna make a bunch of adults do this shit. Dude, kids are fucking evil, man.
Oh, they are.
In this show especially.
Which, by the way, just added on the themes is also dealing with anxiety, and she has severe fucking anxiety to the point where she can't even cultivate a sentence. So it's really impressive. Again, it goes back to her performance because that episode lives and dies with her. It really does. There's no way you can kind of cut around it. Either you get a good person acting in this or you don't. And in this case, they won out.
So next off, we go to the novelty shop, which is just called the novelty shop.
No, it's not the novelty shop. It's
Novelty shop.
Just novelty shop.
They dropped the. It's cleaner.
So yeah, we go to novelty shop, and inside she's looking through the masks. The very elegant, very well-placed masks. Very simple, very,
unlicensed.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Who are you?
I'd like to buy a mask for Halloween, please.
She's walking around in novelty shop, and a creepy Count Dooku McGillicuddy with fucking herpes on his face pops out of nowhere, just goes, "What are you doing in my shop?" I'm like, Jesus!
Yeah.
We are closed, young lady!
Well, you didn't have the fucking close sign up, so...
The door was open, it's mid-fucking-day, so, like, Jesus, man! She gets a little freaked out, a little stuttery. It's just like, I just want to buy a mask. I'll be super quick. You have 5 minutes. Let me go take a call.
We're closed.
Only a minute, please. I really need a mask. I won't be long.
Everything I have is up on the walls. 5 minutes. Yes?
Oh, landlines. And then there's a whole chem lab in the back.
Yeah, so she's looking at some of the masks on the walls because that's the only stock he has apparently.
Allegedly.
So she's looking around. She's like, nah, fuck this. She peeks in the back. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back here, even though this door is, an area clearly not supposed to investigate. We walk through a bunch of beakers and shit like that. It's like, maybe this is Walter White's secret hideout. But that's besides the point.
It's a front for a drug operation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Knew it.
That makes sense.
Look at all the beakers.
Oh, yeah.
Making the blue stuff.
What in the name of Breaking Bad is going on back here?
It's called Bathmore.
Hey, there's a Sylvester Stallone right there.
So we see a line of masks. Creepy, awesome looking. Okay, actually, there's only one that looks interesting, and that is this one. The rest of them are just kind of old, ugly people.
I mean, one did look like Sylvester Stallone, so there is that.
Actually, no, I'll give the one at the very far end. It did look like the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers
Like
a little.
the really decayed one.
Yeah.
That is one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she sees this mask and immediately falls in love with it. Creepy fucking Count Dooku herpy face McGillicuddy walks in and fucking just like, what are you doing back here? These masks are not for sale! Just very demanding.
No! Here you go, Zach.
I said no.
Some toast.
So he's very pissed off and she's like, I want to buy this mask because it's scary. No, you can't. Why not? These masks are not for sale.
I'm sorry, young lady. But these masks are not for sale.
Not for sale? Why not?
They're too frightening.
It just gets very all creepy and lovey-dovey with them to a degree, and he offers her a cheap gorilla mask out front for free, but she's not having it. So what she ends up doing is she just takes the mask, does the fucking loop-de-loop around him and runs out the door, throws the money, and it's just like, bye!
Here's your money!
Make a room! And then he fucking turns the sign to close. He didn't even chase her out. Like he
just closes the door.
Your problem now.
He's just like, I'll see you later.
Dude, he's like a fucking Walmart employee when they make it out. they're like, I guess.
What am I doing?
Fucked up.
So now that Carly Beth is a felon.
Hey, no. She did technically throw money, you know.
Did he agree to the transaction?
No, I guess he's a felon then.
He's got you there, lawyered.
It's a misdemeanor at best.
Yeah.
$1,000 and below is a misdemeanor.
Her name's Carly Beth. Slap on her wrist.
Bye-bye, Carly Beth. Bye-bye.
It is a nice mask.
So, she puts the mask on and proceeds to scare the ever-loving shit out of her brother.
Who was Man Spider this year.
Yes, walking around, whistling down the hallway.
Which is so fucking, like, of all the things that you could have this kid be doing, like, just randomly whistling, I think they just asked him, like, hey, can you do anything, like, mildly entertaining while you're walking? I can whistle. Like, yeah, perfect. Let's do that. We got nothing. We got nothing for you know to show an establishing shot of you walking down the hall. So I guess we gotta have you fucking whistle. I wanted to have the kid who juggled, but no.
Hey, Noah. Stay away! No! No! Who are you? Why don't you guess? Mom, help!
Good, you little fuck. You deserve it.
It's me, it's Carly Beth.
So the little shit's walking down the hallway, whistling, not juggling, and she pops out of her room with the mask on. It scares the ever-loving crap out of the kid. He's like, oh my god, it's so scary. And, yeah, he tells her to take it off, but she has a little trouble, you know, a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Please take off that mask, Carly Beth, please! Okay, don't have a fit. Hey, what is this? My mask, it won't come off. Stop kidding around, Carly Beth. I'm not kidding around. Really, I can't get it off me.
And, yeah, after that, she goes downstairs, steals the sculpture of her face, puts it on a broomstick, stuffs some little red velvet shit under it, and then just proceeds to run away before her mom can see what the hell she's doing.
You know what's funny, and something I realized watching this again is actually, yeah, how great she is, but how genuinely good everybody else is reacting to her. Like, it's kind of funny from a story perspective. They can all tell that, like, this is, you know, like, yeah, it's a scary mask, but something's fucked up about it. Like, there's something off about it. Like, and there's something different. It's not like a regular scary mask. There's legitimately something that they can't put their finger on that's wrong with this whole thing. And everybody does a really good job about, you know, around her. They put good people around her to react to the mask. And especially the little brother, like, you can genuinely tell that he's actually terrified. It's not like a normal thing, and he's like, this is fucked up. Like, you should not be wearing that mask.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the direction was just act like you're on meth. What's meth? Here you go, kid. Have some fun. Be back in a half hour. Okay.
And she does have a very good time scaring little kids, and even mistakenly thinking two other kids are Chuck and Steve, which she really looks like a jerk on that one.
Yeah.
Steve? Okay, Carly Beth. Now. Ryan, leave us alone! You're not Chuck and Steve. But if you were, I'd make you real sorry.
Let's go. She's crazy. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm crazy, alright? I'm crazy!
Have any ever actually read the book?
No, this is one book. One of the books I haven't read.
So I read the book for this one a long time ago, and I listened to probably roughly the first half-ish of the audiobook recently. And for the most part, it's a very accurate adaptation of the book. There are, of course, those little things that get a little more detail and everything, because, you only have 44 minutes without commercials for the show. But these scenes where she's going around scaring all the kids and everything, you do kind of get it from her point of view, where it's she sees her, she knows she's doing these things and it feels good, but she feels like she's not the one doing it. It's almost like she's on the outside looking in.
It's actually a really good perspective. And you can kind of tell because she kind of transforms back and forth between herself, Carly Beth, and then the mask, and kind of does that little trade-off, and then slowly just becomes just pretty much the mask, to the point where she gets her revenge a little bit later. But yeah, then she walks up to the random that house to go trick or treat with her friend, and
Sabrina meets up with her. She's what looks to be a weird fox type thing, but it's actually a cat, even though it looks nothing like a cat.
Don't you recognize me? Carly Beth? Hey, Sabrina. Boo! That mask! It's excellent!
Yeah, and then she shakes the shit out of her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're walking down the road, and Sabrina points out how creepy and fleshy the mask feels, looks, and everything like that. And she's just like, take it off. No. Take it off. No. Take it off. I'm on meth! Whoa!
Be quiet, Sabrina. I think you should take it off. Be quiet. I think it's really disgusting. I said, but it's too weird for words.
Jesus Christ! That's really essentially the feeling you get here. She just does this complete 180 and just character. It's what the fuck? You're gonna randomly shake the shit out of your friend. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're scaring the kids like a fucking meth head. You're shaking the shit out of your best friend. What the fuck are you doing, kid?
That's like a crackhead.
Stop it! What are you doing? Gotcha. Should have seen your face. It was the best. The best?
And then she bursts into laughter, saying, "Oh, I was just fucking with you," and no, you kind of being a douche, but also in the same token though, she's behaving like the two douchebags. So, and her brother, and I don't really blame her. She's like, well, fuck them. If they get to act like this and treat me like this, and nobody else gives them a hard time, then fuck it, I'm gonna act like that. And now she's been given this tool, this mask, to be given power over other people and scare the shit out of people. So, she's going to use it.
This reminds me of some study that happened a few years ago where they learned that's when kids wear a costume or a mask on Halloween, it's they change their personality to be more mischievous and everything because they feel like they can get away with it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do that. And that's kind of what came into the psychology of slasher movies and other things about, using masks to be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And turn into this persona to rip your face. I mean, that's why Michael Myers wears masks. Because he just to become this persona of Michael Myers and be able to kill people and do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's an interesting part about masks. She begins to behave more and more like an ass, and actually gets progressively worse. And the really cool nuance part was the mask slowly taking over and becoming more like skin. And the biggest thing for me that I noticed was the teeth. Because when she first had the mask on, they weren't really moving, like a regular mask does. But then as time went on, they actually moved a lot more like Jaws. And it was really cool. It's a nice nuanced touch that is, I gotta say, sorely fucking missing from all the other episodes of Goosebumps.
There's also the eyes, too.
Yeah, the eyes had changed.
It's the first time she puts it on, it's obviously a mask around the eyes. And then the second time, once it vacuum forms onto her face, they get rid of the line between her skin and the mask skin.
Whoa, Carly Beth, you You are scary.
I always thought the back of the head was the most revealing part. I don't know why. It just seemed to be the most, like, fleshy, seamless, sweaty type thing. And it just, like, as the episode progresses forward, you just see it just become more just, like, naturally a part of her. Whereas it's, you know, when you first put on the mask, you kind of see the flesh just go...
Yeah, and also as it progresses too, like especially in the graveyard scene when we get to that, like it looks like they added some kind of slime or something to the mask, and it really glistens in the light of the cemetery.
Speaking of people recognizing that it's not, it's a pretty fucked up mask. She walks up to a house to go traditionally trick or treating, and then scares the shit out of two little kids.
You better watch what you say to me if you know it's good for you.
Wow, you become a buffalo human
Don't
being.
her like that. She's just a little girl.
Oh, but isn't that too bad?
Hey, cut it out.
And if you don't stop talking, you'll get what's coming here too.
Jesus.
You tell your sick little friend that I'm gonna call the police.
She's not really like that.
And the mom, who she calls an old hag, even though she's like 30.
Early 30s.
Don't you remember when you were a kid and 30 was old?
Actually, yeah.
Sucks. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's tough, Mark.
Reminds me of all these fucking TikToks where the young kids are like saying like, you know, these kids grew up in the late 1900s. Fuck those kids. And then she's like calling the cops, and she is totally not fazed about the cops being called.
She's looking at old Meg's face.
Carly Beth, that old bag said she's calling the cops on you.
I'm not afraid of her.
What's happened to
call her an
you?
old
You're like
bag?
somebody else. Somebody I don't even know.
30.
Yeah, really.
It's
Yeah,
not me,
really.
Sabrina.
That was a bluff.
They yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
They
In a small town like that, yeah, I call bullshit.
the
Also, like, 10 kids walked up to her door immediately after they did, so she's not gonna have the time. She's gotta run to her fucking landline, call the cops. By the time she even dials 9, like, the kids are gonna be ringing the doorbell. Where's the fucking candy?
I'm actually surprised that mother even had candy to give out, because she kept her kids inside.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
That's a good point.
They
They weren't even dressed up. They were just like
hanging
normal.
out. They
yeah.
I mean, they were younger, but like, you know what? Those okay. In her defense, she might have taken them out earlier. They you know, because they were really young, but
They were wannabe skippers, and you know it.
Well, I guess at least they were handing out
Yeah.
candy, but still, that sucks for the kids.
the I guess they knew if they didn't have candy, they would get fucking vandalized. But I know that bitch probably had like really shitty $1, you know, dollar store candy.
What an old hag.
Yeah, I know, right? So, so Carly finally gets her revenge. She finally catches up with the two douchebagaroos. Yes, I said douchebagaroos. I invented a word. The
douche buccaneers.
Yeah, actually, that one's better. That one's a lot better. Dude, it fits.
Dude, you make up words more than anybody I've ever met in my life.
That is not a made-up word.
16 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and away we go.
Whatever's coming to that.
Yeah, they're fucking around in the graveyard and eating candy off of someone's fucking tombstone, which makes them even more of a douchebag.
I hate
Tombstone as a fucking
Yeah, that's one way of doing
Would
it.
this be easier at your house?
Chuck.
Fucking slob.
And they're fucking singing the random pirate song, which I'm pretty sure I heard like one time outside of this show. It's amazing that these kids even know that song. And then they're fucking dancing on someone's grave and eating candy on a tombstone.
Yeah, they kind of deserved everything that happened to them.
Yeah,
if
they
anything,
really-
they got off easy.
They did, and actually, it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, it's cute for a kids show. You know, watching like regular movies and being the way that we are is, you know, it's obviously pretty fucking common. But for a kids show, it's pretty clever to have them be hanging out and then seeing Carly fuck around in the background and go from tree to tree to tree while, you know, she's walking up to them.
Hey, I think I hear something.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean it.
What is it?
And then also, yeah, one of them had to get one last scare in. So what's that? And then he walked away and he put on a fucking skull mask and scared him.
Over there.
I don't see anything.
Funny.
Actually, I gotta be honest. That scene where she's telling them to to apologize is actually pretty fucking effective. It's actually genuinely creepy, and you can see how far away it is from Carly Beth. Like, how far she's gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah, like, legitimately gone.
It was kind of badass.
It was. It was.
She made them get on their fucking knees
and beg.
So.
And I'm like, oh well, okay then.
Even the plaster head talked.
Apologize to her. Apologize! Well, I promise you wish you never met her.
Sorry, Carly Beth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry again.
Help me.
Talked.
Please help me.
That's not trippy at all.
And it's kind of this interesting energy shift where the personality went into the fucking head, and now it's been replaced by this crazy evil thing. But it was a really effective scene. And she does genuinely get her revenge and scare the fuck out of them. And then they run off, and then she runs off, and then she eventually makes it back to the house, and her friend.
Well, I mean, after, just to go back to that last scene, it was kind of complete when she buried the head.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She buries
Yeah,
the head, and I'm like, all right, I can, move on.
Away from Carly Beth. I'm now the mask.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, scaredy cat. Bye-bye.
Fucking animal.
And then she, like I said, runs to her friend's house.
Let's go home, okay?
Is it just my imagination, or is this actually genuinely good?
It might be your imagination. Yeah, it's good.
And so it's time to take the mask off, but it ain't coming off.
Nope.
I need to get this mask off. It's boiling inside. Good idea. Ouch. Carly Beth, what is it? Mask. Oh, come on. Really? Can't get it off? It's like it's stuck to my skin.
It's gonna sound pretty dumb if we have to call the fire department to come get you.
Shut up and help me.
And it gets to the point where she gets her friend to help her out. Still no luck. She's okay, let's cut it off. She goes for a knife, but her friend stops her, and it's like she looks down her shirt and sees there's no line bottom of the mask. Like the mask has become part of her.
Oh. What's the matter? There's no bottom to this mask. There's no line in between the mask and your skin. There's no place I can reach my hand in.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
And then she's, going back to what you were saying, she looked, I can remember she looked in the mirror and said, "Those aren't my eyes." And then, and once again adding to, a really effective moment where she realized how bad she fucked up. The guy in the store I always knew. He knew the moment he turned the sign. He's like, that girl gone.
His eyes. His eyes in the mirror. What about them? They're not my eyes, Sabrina. My eyes don't look like that.
Try to calm down, Carly Beth.
Those aren't my eyes. Where are my eyes? Where am I?
You're scaring me.
And speaking of eyes, there are some good POV shots in this episode.
Yeah, they were. I think, and they were rather effective, especially the one where she's looking in the mirror as a POV. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I felt like those were the most effective ones. Those are pretty cool when she's like looking through the mirror. So.
And I think that goes back to more what the book was all about really showing her perspective.
And so she goes back to Novelty Shop, and Creepy Face has been waiting for her.
I was expecting you.
You could help me.
I know.
And he explains to her that her mask and the other masks from earlier were new faces that he made for himself, because he didn't like what he saw when he looked in the mirror. He didn't like himself, so it's kind of like he's trying to look better on the outside, thinking he'll fix the inside, but no, his inside ends up infecting each of those faces and turning them into the hideous monsters that they've become. And that sort of like rash on his face is his current face starting to turn into one of the monsters as well.
They weren't ugly in the beginning. They were beautiful. As beautiful as any face could be. But something went wrong. They changed. They became hideous. One after another, no matter what I did to stop the decay. No matter what I did, deformity set in.
And he went through a lot of faces.
Yeah,
there
so
was like 6 or 7 on those
those
stands alone, including the one he was already working on.
So God only knows what his real face fucking looked like. Jesus. And it kind of goes back to the whole message of this is that, you know, if you hate yourself, no matter what you do on the external, it's not going to matter because eventually the internal will come out. It just works that way.
I'm sorry, but this face is your face now.
And so he gives Carly Beth the bad news that this face is her face now. And she's really upset. Who wouldn't be? And then he just remembers out of nowhere. He asks her, how many times have you taken the mask off? Only once. Okay, so then there might still be a chance. If you find a symbol of love, then the mask will come off.
How many times have you taken off that mask?
Taken off? Once.
There still might be a chance.
What? Well, tell me. We have to take it off.
I cannot take it off. Only you can. With a symbol of love.
What does that mean? Well, I don't understand what that means. And
You
who
and me
are
both,
you
sister.
anyway? And how do you know this stuff?
And so that's how you can break the curse of the mask. So the masks come to life and give chase.
You'll awaken.
What's happening? What are they doing?
Run! Run!
Horror trope.
And the big question in my mind for this is Zach. The VFX for these masks. If you were to be given the exact technology they had in 1995, would you be able to do it with just that technology?
I don't fucking know. I don't even know what tech they used back then. That's the problem.
And you'd call yourself a VFX master.
Best guess.
Yeah, I am. Because I can do it now very easily.
Best guess.
Oh no, shot of film, probably rotoscoping or something like that. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
He probably would.
That's the reason why I want to work with film, so I can try to figure this shit out.
She makes her way back to the graveyard, being chased by the very scary, or scary back in 1995. The masks, you know, for kids. Clearly we can see that they're the finest VFX for Canadian children's television.
Not the worst from the show.
No, God, no, not at all, not at all. Definitely not the worst. I could tell that some money was spent. She remembers the symbol of love is obviously the Carly Beth head that her mom gave her. Who, you know, and that's actually, I'm glad that they chose that because, again, going back to what I was saying, and then she's like literally genuinely the only person who loves her, like, unconditionally. Never laughs at her, never gives her a hard time, like, actually genuinely loves her, you know, opposed to her friend who, you know, loves her about 75% of the time.
It's a bitch you weak.
Like 76.
Okay, fine. The other time she's like, you need to, you know, like, I'm gonna laugh at you or you need a fucking Xanax. Carly Beth definitely needs a few fucking Xanax.
You and that Xanax.
It just didn't take that down, bro. She's at a 10. We need her down like at a 7.
Jesus Christ, man.
One of us.
This is Carly Beth. I am Carly Beth. This is me.
Wait, just turn around like, oh my god, it's scary.
So she ends up digging up the you know, thing, and she says, "This is me. This is actually me." And the masks eventually,
They vominos, and I especially like that one mask that literally just like does the
like the left to right, just like I'm gonna nope the fuck out of here.
Just a mask. Just a mask again.
And then David and I immediately say after the shit's over and everything else, we're like, that bitch is so grounded.
Oh,
yeah. They fucking disappeared for like hours on end. And Halloween is definitely over. And, you know, and also the sculpture that she gave her is covered with dirt. Dude, she was like really nice about it, and I get she was like genuinely upset, but like that would not have been the reaction that our parents would have had. Like, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
You were so grounded. Go to fucking bed right now.
Yeah.
She was way nicer, but she can clearly say that, you know, see that she was upset, and you know, and then and actually it's kind of cool because she figures out that she's enough. She figures out that she's enough. And fuck the rest of the people. She's cool with just being her.
I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to scare you. I've had a long, weird night, that's all. But everything's okay now.
Well, why didn't you wear your duck costume? And why weren't you with Sabrina? Sabrina called here twice looking for you.
Well, let's just say I've learned a lot about myself tonight, Mom.
And actually,
her brother gets one last jab at her.
One last jab. You know, he's then Carly about to take off that mask, and she freaks out and looks in the mirror.
I know. Carly Beth, please take that mask off. Please, Carly Beth, please. Take that mask off.
You're an asshole.
I gotcha.
But and the funny thing is, when she was talking to her mom, all of her stutters were gone. Stutters were gone. She was speaking to her clearly. She was still a little frazzled, but she wasn't the same person anymore. I think that she had gone through this experience and come out better on the other end. But in truest R.L. Stine fashion, you know, you always have to get one last little thing. So the little brother tries on the mask, you know, and say, "Hey, look at me," and then the episode ends and it goes to an R.L. Stine narration. Which it did at the beginning.
Noah, don't put on that mask.
An award for dumbass number 2 goes to... Number 2.
Trick or treat.
Now that wasn't too scary, was it? Let's ask my family. Mom? Dad? What did you think?
Gotta be
I think
blue
you liked it.
hair
I hope
right
you did
there.
too. Have a scary day, everyone.
R.L. Stine would intro and outro the primetime specials for Goosebumps. So that was like this one, Werewolf Fever Swamp, Night at Terror Tower, Night of Living Dummy 3.
For some reason that was primetime. I believe that was the one with Hayden Christensen.
Yes,
the best one.
But yeah, he does. You know, like that wasn't so bad. What did you think, Mom and Dad? And somebody in the hair department got to be glued and fucking attached to every part of their hair.
They had the same hairstylist as Cameron Diaz in Something About Mary.
Times 10.
This is a really good episode. It's really, really good. I stand by whatever I said. The acting performances were great. It was fun. It was entertaining. Had a really good message, if not several messages. Shot well, you know, for a Goosebumps episode. As Brandon likes to say, it had, you know, directing and acting and tone and pacing and, you know.
It was a good horror story for kids.
Correct.
They put a lot of effort into this episode compared to the, you know, other episodes for season 2 and 3. I think the first season, obviously, for me, is the best of the 3. But yeah, man, they did a really good job with everything, with the visual effects, with the mask, and how they take the minor details and how it expands the further along we go in the episode. With, you know, like Mark said, the teeth start moving towards the end once she's like fully the mask. So I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate the minor details, especially coming from Goosebumps. And when we watch the other episodes and how they don't really, care to, take the details. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, this was an excellent children's horror story. They actually took it seriously. As somebody who loved the books as a kid, and even still now, I love the fact that the mask actually looks like they took
mask
this
on the cover.
idea and turned it into reality.
That's a really cool
Because
thing.
not every monster got that treatment from Goosebumps.
Yeah.
There was one Goosebumps book I saw as a kid, but because I hated reading, I refused to, give it a shot. It had a hammerhead shark on the cover.
Deep Trouble.
Yeah.
You would
Did
be
that have
disappointed.
anything to do with a shark?
No, you would be disappointed.
Cool.
Like a shark might have been mentioned here or there, but it is not about a shark. In fact, that one is more of an adventure book than a horror book.
Mm-hmm. Like Choose Your Own Adventure book? Or?
No, like it's
okay.
there's really there's like a sea monster mentioned that makes a brief appearance, but for the most part, I think it's about like sea poachers going after a mermaid. I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
Fucking false advertisement. Fuck you, RL.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the thing about the original 62 books. All their covers are fucking amazing. It's more of like they're trying to suck you in, and that is one of the ones I read, and I was like, this is not about a shark. You made me read a whole book. Fuck you.
You made me read a book. Go fuck yourself.
I gotta stretch back my memory, but I believe I saw this live. When I was a kid. If not like the next day, when they did a re-release of it, or that the next time they did a re-release of it. But I'm almost positive I did watch this live.
Yeah, I have vague memories of being in the family room with my parents when it came on.
Yeah.
And I also remember having the VHS tape as well.
I was going to say, every episode of Goosebumps I ever saw, I rented from Hollywood Video.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the first time I actually watched it. I don't think I watched this episode on TV first. I think I watched it on VHS.
The funny thing is, I actually learned how to record a VHS tape for an episode of Goosebumps.
Which one?
It was the dumb waiter one, the one where the kid's obsessed with strawberry ice cream.
Oh yeah.
What the hell was the name of that one?
The Headless Ghost.
Yeah, I remember that one. I have fond memories of watching the show. Watching it on Fox Kids and. Live. According to my dad, it scared the shit out of me, and I didn't like it. I especially didn't like Flappy, the doll. I had a problem with dolls.
Slappy.
Slappy, yeah.
I had a problem with dolls. Looked at the fucking cover for Child's Play when I was like 8. It freaked me the fuck out. I read like 1 or 2 of the books when I was age appropriate, and then I was bored one summer, and I actually read over a summer. I think it was like 6th grade or something later, 7th grade. And I went to the local library, and they actually had a lot of them. And I'm like, oh, I remember all of these and everything else. Why don't I read them and see if they still hold up? And actually, I think I realized that my imagination is far more vast, and I probably made it even more scary than it actually supposed to be. But they're actually really well-written books. They, at least from what I remember reading them in 7th grade.
Some are better than others.
I imagine so.
But this one was good.
This one was excellent.
This one was a really good Goosebumps episode. I'm glad we watched it. And it's a very excellent Halloween treat of a show.
Great fucking episode. It's amazing how I've still been able to relate to it, even watching it live, and then now even as an adult, I relate to it. It has a lot of really good themes, and a lot of good metaphors for self-esteem. Trying to figure out who you are and then owning it, and having confidence in who you are and your abilities and what makes you special. It's sappy, but it's fucking true, and anybody can relate to it. Anybody can relate to feeling lost and feeling like the whole world is against you. And it's really, really good. And actually, I would even say that every kid should watch it today. I think they would get a lot out of it, even though it came out when we were all kids. I think some things are just timeless. And I can't believe I'm actually saying a fucking episode of Goosebumps is timeless, but it is.
Agreed.
Overall, I think this was one of their more complete episodes. So yeah, like I said, I appreciate their little small details. If you're a big fan or a casual fan or not a fan at all of Goosebumps, I definitely recommend checking at least this 2-parter out.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
And I think if you're a parent, this is an excellent show to introduce your kids to horror. And it's also a really good book to read too. If you just want a little taste of Goosebumps and you want like what is one of the best stories that I can start with, you can do a lot worse than The Haunted Mask.
Yeah, you can do a lot worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for today. We hope you enjoyed this Halloween special programming on your latest YouTube channel. If you would like to find us, you can find us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Slasher.
And, of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, if you could be so awesome to stab that like button, smash that subscribe, and click that little dingy bell to be notified every time we drop amazing content right here on MHN. We've done a lot of amazing stuff this entire month of October. Oh, and then also to get even more additional content, you can check out our Instagram and TikTok page at Midwest Horror Network. We have a lot of very specialty shit on there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this October. Happy Halloween, everybody.